Hi, I'm John Pelosi, and welcome to the Guitar Art Studio channel. Today I'm going to talk about using major scales and minor pentatonics to improvise over a blues progression in A. Okay, a standard A blues progression has 3 chords in it. An A7, which is the tonal center and the 1 chord. A D7, which is the 4 chord. And an E7, which is the 5 chord. One observation we can make is that they're all dominants, but more on that later. Okay, to make sure we're on the same page, I'm going to play through the chord progression once. So A7 for 4 bars. Then the D7 for 2 bars. Back to the A7. Here comes the E7. D7. A7. Okay, it's really important to play the chords really well with good rhythm. Nobody cares about your solo if you can't play the chords really well with good time and good feel. And of course you can practice improvising this all day, but in a live setting playing with others, take a couple of solos and pass it off to the next guy. Don't be that guy that plays on this for too long. Okay, back to the quality of these chords being dominants. The A7 is the tonal center and it is the dominant of D major. The D7 is the dominant of G major. And the E7 is the dominant of A major. So that's 3 major scales going on in this chord progression. However, there's one major scale that we can play throughout the chord progression, and that's the major scale down a whole step from the tonal center. So the tonal center being A, the A7, we can play G major, like this. Like this. Do it one more time. Here are the G major scale patterns and the chord scales of the 3 keys I mentioned earlier. Note the positions of the chords of the blues progression. You can take a screenshot on the Mac by pressing Command-Shift-3. One of my kids showed me how to do that not long ago, and it's extremely useful. Even she said, I don't know how you didn't know this, Dad. I should have felt stupid, but that's the one thing about getting older that I'm kind of excited about is I didn't really care. Then she said, hey Dad, it's a Bluetooth keyboard. You don't need to have it plugged in. I had it plugged in for months. I don't care. I don't feel stupid. So you could look at these patterns as 7 patterns for G major, or you could look at them as the modes. If modes are confusing for now, just look at it as 7 patterns for G major across the neck. The main thing is that these patterns, modes, are a great way to start to understand the neck and start to know your way around. Here's an acronym I learned from my guitar teacher when I was a teenager back in the... All right, for my part, if I had to distill the blues element into a basic musical device, I would have to say it's the A note, the tonal center, and its minor third, the C. This effect across the chord progression. So if you try to create simple phrases across the scale patterns using A's and C's wherever you can find them, here's another one. Here's another one. I'm sure you'll get encouraging results with trial and error. Here's a minor pentatonic. Here's another minor pentatonic. Here's an F sharp minor pentatonic on the A. Here's a C sharp minor pentatonic on the E. Playing major scales and minor pentatonics over the blues progression is a great way to practice them. I hope some of those examples helped you. I'm John Pelosi. You can check out my site at johnpelosi.com. I'd like to leave you with an excerpt from my latest album called Breathing in the Sun. Ciao for now, and always be beginning.